The Parayanas, the chantings are commenced now, and they go on all these 3 days. Every day they start Parayanam in the morning at approximately 8 o'clock and they complete at 12 noon, when the Purnahuti will be done. Today being the first day, it takes probably another half an hour or so more, because it's already 11:07, and after the Havans are completed, which are supposed to be conducted during this day morning session, the Purnahuti will be done. Purnahuti means the final offering to the Agni Devata is called Purnahuti. But the Mahapurnahuti, which is the final activity, will be conducted at 8:30 on 18th, a day after tomorrow. And morning and evening, the Havan will be there in the Yagasala. Now today the morning Havan is taking place at 12, after 12 probably for some time. That will be completed there. And then the Prasadam and Tadiyaradhana will be distributed to all the devotees participating here. From 2 o'clock onwards, of course, the cultural events take place on the dais here, and they will go on up to 5 o'clock, and they will be completed after 5, and from 5:30 onwards we will be chanting Sri Vishnu Sahasranama Stotra Parayanam. I will be doing that collectively. And today being the Varalakshmi Vratam, the Mahalakshmi Puja will take place after the Sahasranama Parayanam is completed. From approximately 6:15 or so, the puja will be done, and the puja will be completed at about 8 o'clock or 8:30. Then the Purnahuti, then the Prasadam distribution. That's how the things go. Of course, our program is only for 2 days, today and tomorrow. And again, day after tomorrow it will be completed, right? So today and tomorrow the program goes like this. And now, as we have seen the Agni Mathanam here, what is the Agni Mathanam that is done here? Yesterday, we informed you to give a few details of who are Devatas. Are we able to feel them, see them? Will these yagas, whatever they are doing there in the Yagasala, yield some sort of results? So is it necessary to do so? These kind of things we told yesterday, that we will inform a few details about these things. Do you remember? How many of you remember that? That's good. So are you interested to know about those things? Okay. So let us discuss about them. First of all, we'll inform you that what the procedure that is done here. And then of course we go to some commonly asked questions, and then we will try to address them. What did you see here in the morning? Now, Agni Mathanam. When you see the fire churning here, do you remember a few things from the history? There was a kind of churning was done. What was that? Exactly. Sagara Mathanam. What happened then during the Sagara Mathanam, when the history says that Devatas and Asuras, they churned milk ocean, right? And then so many things came out of that milk ocean. The first thing that came out was the poison, the pretty dangerous poison which was taken by Lord Mahasiva. And then came Kamadhenu, the wish-fulfilling cow, and Kalpataru, wish-fulfilling tree. And then Dhanvantari, Lord appeared in the form of Dhanvantari, carrying a leech and a pot full of nectar, or probably elixir, Amrutam. And then there appeared Mahalakshmi also. And then the moon. Many things came out of that milk ocean. And Devatas received that Amrutam to keep up the world in good order, eliminating the evil forces from this. That was the actually incident that took place in the history. We call it as history. We don't call it as mythology. Mythology means something that is created out of myth, which is not true. It is something called history. History means it happened as it is. So, the scriptures mentioned about a few things and they become history because the people of those days have witnessed them and recorded. Today, we may not believe in them because our exposure now is something different. Our understanding about the things is also something different. It doesn't mean that the facts mentioned in history become illusionary. They will be there as it is. And if you do not believe, that's our problem. Today you know very well, you are able to see your smartphone and able to pay money to wherever you want, able to connect yourself to any person across the world, able to see the people whoever and whomever you wish to from across the globe. Today, you are able to do this. If it is sometime during 1960s or 50s, what you say? If somebody says, oh, I am talking to my friend from Australia, you say something, you are just, fooling me. Or it is something blah, blah, blah. Then also there were scientists. Then also there were people who are knowledgeable, knowing about the nature, knowing about the greatness of the nature, dealing with the nature, dealing with chemicals, dealing with so many elements of this nature. But if this is said during those days, they would have laughed at you. But today, when you say and they say, oh, this is something, I can also do, or anybody can do, even a small kid can do. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Today's scenario is this. And 50 years before, the scenario was something different. When we came to US, probably 95, I suppose. We came for the first time to US in 94. But during 95, when we were traveling to US through Delhi, one friend of ours from Delhi gave us a nice cell phone, 95 I am talking about. A small cell phone of this size, which used to appear in silver color. And he gave us, Swamiji, just you can use this. And this is a global phone, so you can call from anywhere. I thought it's really great. And then while we were coming, we started using that. As a matter of fact, we don't talk to many people through phone. So occasionally we may call some people here and there. So we came to London, and then we came to US, stayed here for 10 days or 15 days, and returned. And when we returned, end of the month, we got a bill for 30,000 rupees. 30,000? I said, I spoke with 5 or 6 people. Why 30,000? And they said, it is so less. Pay it off. Of course, we paid it. And then we returned the phone also to the person who gave it to us and said, bye-bye. This is enough for me. We don't want any more this phone. From that day on, till today, we never maintained a phone. We never touched a phone. It was only a small cell phone during that time. No video facility on that. No phone pay from that. No connectivity where you can just monitor from here in your home. Where you can have the CC cameras observed at your work spot. Such things were not known at that moment, at that time. If anybody speaks about such kind of things in those days, people would have simply said, you are a crazy guy. And they would have laughed at you. Technology evolved even then to a certain extent. And today, the technology is something different. And today you are able to do so many things. You need not read a book if you are a student. Simply you can just ask ChatGPT and you can get all the content with all perfectness. You can do anything through the phone. That is today. What is going to happen tomorrow? You may not be there, but you may be seen in the phone. You may not have your friend next to you, but both of you may be there in the phone. And we know today you can talk in any language to any person. We have our friends here who are working with the Statue of Union who do not understand English nor Telugu. But I can speak in Telugu and he can listen to that in his language. He can speak in his language. I can hear that in my language, either English or Telugu, without any hesitation, without any distortion. This is happening today. And I am sure down the line, you may not have marriage, but you may get wonderful children. It is happening now in a different way, but then it happens through the phone. Phone will give you children, and you may be able to do so many things. AI technology, when it comes, you can't imagine what are the things going to happen. Our doctors need not go to hospitals, nor they can practice also. Robots will do the job. We can't even imagine what are the things that are going to happen tomorrow. If I talk about such technology, you may laugh at me now. As some people laughed at us when we talked about the technology that we are experiencing today. Friends, my point is, things in the nature keep changing. Don't think what you know is everything. What you understand is everything. What you will be able to imagine is the end. No, that will not happen. Few things will work beyond your imagination. It was there in olden days. It will be there in future days as well. So when you listen to your history or historic incidents like Samudra Manthanam or Nrsimha's appearance, don't say this is cock and bull story, because you are too small to imagine them. Those things are true. But what was the technology that was functioning in those days is something different. Probably you may not have access to that, and or you lost it. I give you very, very small thing. You can just imagine. Today, I'm holding a mouthpiece in my hand and I'm talking from here on the dais. You are there in those chairs, able to hear my voice. After all, we are here, 200-300 people. To communicate to this number of people, I need this mic. And without this, I'm not able to communicate, or my voice will not be visible, will not be audible to you. Yes or no? Sometimes I may yell, ah! Few things may be heard, but many things may not be. You may miss a lot of communication. Do you understand when this technology is evolved? Electricals and electronics. When did this technology start? Anybody can say? Huh? Tell me the year. You are in America. Huh? Either you are an engineer or a business guy. Probably studied with good ranks in India and came here. And probably you must be remembering all this kind of stuff. The microphone technology started in 1900. Before 1900 AD, this technology was not at all there. How people were communicating in those days? When there are congregations, when there are big assemblies, there were many. Yes or no? Because there were big wars. Happened even before. And even the rulers were addressing the crowds when the war is going to be started. We hear about the wars. As the First World War, and even before, during 16th century, beginning of 16th century, Krishna Deva Raya was the great monarch of Vijayanagaram dynasty. Also was waging wars with hundreds of thousands of warriors, and used to go different places and do the war. And even before, there were so many other rulers, Mughal rulers, with thousands and lakhs of warriors. They used to wage the war. How they were communicating with their people. How they were passing on the information when there are no cell phones, when there were no WhatsApp messages, when there were no even the microphones. No electricity was known, it seems. How they were living. They were living with good culture. They were living with good amount of wealth.